I just felt really excited that I was with a team that led with art.
Yeah.
And so I was, had been sort of grappling to my husband about.
She's fierce, she's fiery, and she's country music royalty. But even queens aren't immune to heartbreak. Miranda Lambert has built a career on raw truth and fearless storytelling. But behind the glam, guitars, and Grammys lies a reality fans don't always see. Recent whispers have stirred fresh curiosity, and now there's more than just a melody behind the headlines. Something happened, something deeply personal, that's causing fans to look at Miranda's journey in a whole new light. Is it tied to her past, her present, or something unexpected altogether? The truth is layered, the impact unmistakable, and the story, well, that's just getting started. Miranda Lambert's rise to stardom. Miranda Lambert's ascent in the world of country music began with a fiery blend of authenticity and attitude. Raised in Lindale, Texas, she was surrounded by music and stories from an early age. Inspired by both mainstream legends and outlaw icons like Merle Haggard, Lambert's early exposure shaped her unique songwriting voice. At just 16, she began performing in honky-tonks, and by 2001, she had independently released her debut album. Her big break came in 2003 on Nashville Star, a televised talent competition. Although she didn't win, her commanding performances led to a record deal, launching her professional career. Her 2005 breakthrough album Kerosene established Lambert as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by raw lyrics and bold themes, the album earned critical acclaim and a Grammy nomination for its title track. It also gained a loyal fan base, especially among young women who admired her grit and self-penned songs. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend followed in 2007, further solidifying her reputation with anthems like Gunpowder and Lead. That album sold over 1 million copies and brought her the first of many ACM awards for Album of the Year, proving she wasn't just a rising star. She was redefining what it meant to be a female artist in country music. Already during her 2009 album entitled Revolution, winning acceptance in the mainstream, admirers observed Lambert shedding her former self to get more inward. It included The House That Built Me, which was her first Billboard chart topper in the country, and Personal Track, for which she received a Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance. She was recognized at that time as an authentic, high-quality remaining entity and really dug into the arts, garnering much praise in the business world every now and again. Meanwhile, with her tumultuous marriage to Blake Shelton, her personal life kept her as well under public scrutiny. But she would always let her music speak for itself, largely inferences from real-world experiences. Lambert also released several immediate award-winning projects after this period, such as Platinum, 2014, The Weight of These Wings, 2016, and Wildcard, 2019, another one which won her a Grammy for Best Country Album. She also enjoyed success working in the trio Pistol Annies, which demonstrated her collaboration with the efforts of fellow stars. By 2017, Lambert had already captured the ACM Female Vocalist of the Year award for 8 running years and snagged 7 out of the CMA, setting a historical record that crowned her a modern queen of country music. Lambert's ability to blend the steel of her artistic interpretations with those of vulnerability and yet commercial success with creative integrity has created one of the most highly respected and enduring artists in the genre. But not every chapter of her story was written in song. Some were tangled in real-life heartbreak. The complicated love triangle. Before Miranda Lambert ever entered the picture, Blake Shelton's heart belonged to his high school sweetheart, Kaynette Williams. The two met in Oklahoma, where they grew up, and maintained a close friendship before officially dating in their early 20s. Kaynette, who would later become Shelton's road manager, stood by his side during his early rise to fame. In 2003, Shelton proposed to her in a uniquely Blake fashion, right after a morning hunting trip. They were married that same year in a private ceremony in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, during a break in Shelton's tour with Toby Keith. However, the couple's fairy tale romance began to unravel just 3 years later. In 2006, Kaynette filed for divorce, citing inappropriate marital conduct on Shelton's part. While Shelton admitted in interviews that he wasn't ready to be a husband, the deeper implications of the split were soon overshadowed by his developing relationship with fellow country singer Miranda Lambert. The timeline quickly drew public scrutiny, as Shelton and Lambert had met the previous year during a CMT special, 100 Greatest Duets, and sparks reportedly flew, despite Shelton still being married at the time. Lambert would eventually confess that the chemistry between them on stage was real, but ethically complicated. "I knew he was married. I knew better," she admitted in a candid interview, expressing guilt over how their affair started. However, the emotional magnetism was too overwhelming and led to Shelton's divorce from Kynette and Lambert's own split from her then-fiancé, country artist Jeff Allen. The introduction of Miranda and Blake's love story cast a long shadow, not just over Kynette's life, but the future of the couple now embattled by rumors of infidelity and betrayal throughout their marriage. Kynette moved on, away from country music's glare, and began reconstructing her life. After the brief stint in Oklahoma post-divorce, she was once again too close to the drama, with Blake and Miranda settling in the vicinity. Not feeling the state was big enough for the three of us, she moved to Kansas, where she now enjoys a bright and fulfilling career as an award-winning elementary school teacher. Happily remarried to champion rodeo cowboy Cody Joe Sheck, Kynette has found peace beyond heartache, leaving intensity behind, a chapter of her life forever tied to one of country music's most turbulent love triangles. Miranda Lambert's take on cheating rumors. When Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton announced their divorce in 2015, speculation ignited across tabloids and social media, with many quick to assume infidelity played a role. Miranda, a frequent target of celebrity gossip, was at the center of accusations, with rumors suggesting she had been unfaithful during their marriage. However, despite the sensational headlines, there has never been any concrete evidence proving these claims. The whispers were largely fueled by vague sightings and lyrical interpretations, but nothing substantial ever surfaced. Neither Miranda nor Blake publicly accused the other of cheating, and both have maintained a level of respect for one another in the years since their split. For Miranda, the fallout from these rumors was emotionally taxing. Known for being private and fiercely protective of her personal life, she found herself unwillingly dragged into a media circus. The narrative surrounding her divorce spun out of control, turning a painful and deeply personal event into a public spectacle. While she channeled some of that pain into her critically acclaimed album, The Weight of These Wings, she later admitted that rehashing her heartbreak in such an exposed way was emotionally exhausting. "I learned that I don't want to live everything I write about," she said, highlighting the emotional toll of constantly having her private life on display. The rumors of cheating did not only hurt Miranda. Those rumors spilled over the walls into the life of singer Katie Groves, who had utterly no romantic ties with Shelton. Even when denied, Groves was subjected to online bullying and cast as the other woman, thanks to the fan bases and gossip blogs. In an interview, she expressed her anger for having been left to take all the bullets, while Miranda and Blake walked clear, highlighting just how the media frenzy was almost one collateral damage after another. These side stories took center stage and obscured the actual breakup story. A complicated breakup, wrought with human intricacies between two high-profile artists trying to steer love in the glare of the media. Miranda has since worked hard to reclaim her story and rise above all the noise. Today, Miranda is married to Brendan McLaughlin, with whom she leads a quieter, more humble life, safely away from constant amazement. Refusing to be trapped by the cheating stigma and dramatics, Miranda has made it clear that her truth need not be shout, it's lived. The story that occurred behind the scenes of the split was not of a scandal, but the story of two people pushed apart, harmed by the aftermath, and found a way to heal. Price of fame on Miranda's mental health. Miranda Lambert has spent over 2 decades under the relentless glare of the spotlight, And while her success as a country music powerhouse is undeniable, the emotional toll of public scrutiny has been equally significant. From her headline-making marriage and divorce with Blake Shelton to the constant swirl of infidelity rumors and gossip, Miranda's personal life has often been consumed by the tabloid machine. That kind of attention can weigh heavily on anyone. But for someone trying to maintain creative authenticity while navigating heartbreak in public, it proved especially draining. Over the years, she's spoken less about the drama and more through her music, a choice that reflects both her resilience and her need for emotional self-preservation. In a revealing 2024 interview on Bunny XO's Dumb Blonde podcast, Miranda opened up about the cost of staying in overdrive for too long. She admitted to hitting a pretty high level of burnout the previous summer, a result of constant touring, a packed Las Vegas residency, and little time for true rest. Despite years of managing an intense schedule, Miranda said she didn't fully recognize the signs of burnout until she was already deep in it. "It wasn't the burnout where I'm like, I'm quitting forever," she explained. But it was a wake-up call that made her reevaluate how much of herself she could give without sacrificing her well-being. It was not only physically draining, but the effect of fame has started to eat into her creative faculties. Miranda shared during an interview, "If you don't let go, live your life, there's nothing to write about." Her creativity became hollow because of the unabated pressures of being in public view, convincing her how important it was to take time out to enjoy life out of the spotlight. She talked about learning to value the living experiences that matter to her, instead of trying to meet every adult's expectations, explaining how this slowing down has helped her reconnect with her passions of horseback riding and learn new ones. These quiet, rejuvenating interludes now inspire her songs, infusing her art with a deeper sense of itself. Miranda, now in her 40s, accepted that it is her time and energy that she wants to start spending selectively nowadays, tuning out the noise that is of no service to her. "I really just want to go after the good sick and not deal with any of the other noise," she told Bunny. There has since been a perspective shift for Miranda, one that allows for consideration of her fame and herself, blissfully devoid of constant frivolous activity, cherishing serenity, balance, and authentic self. After going through years of emotional instability, tabloid gossip, and burnout, she now is learning that sometimes the greatest thing a woman can achieve, especially in the eyes of publicity, is choosing peace over pressure. Life after divorce. Miranda Lambert has long kept a guarded stance when it comes to her personal life, particularly her high-profile marriage and subsequent divorce from Blake Shelton. However, in a rare moment of openness during an interview with the Los Angeles Times, Lambert described the end of their marriage as horrible, like the death of something. She revealed that Shelton's involvement with The Voice, which began in their first year of marriage, brought an intense level of fame and media scrutiny that blindsided her. For someone naturally private and protective, especially as a self-described Scorpio, the constant paparazzi attention and tabloid speculation were overwhelming. The sudden exposure from The Voice pushed Lambert into a spotlight she hadn't anticipated. She admitted that living part-time in Los Angeles during their marriage only reinforced her discomfort with celebrity culture. "Hollywood is not anything I want to be part of," she stated firmly, sharing that her experience there felt invasive and jarring. Even though she performs in front of thousands, Lambert emphasized the difference between being on stage and being hunted for random photos of moments when she wasn't at work. This contrast between her artistry and the fame machine created a deep emotional toll that stayed with her long after the marriage ended. Following their 2015 divorce, she's managed to keep herself in check through her music, and the cathartic outlet of pouring her heartbreak into something meaningful was through her album The Weight of These Wings. but she actually had to say that it had cost an emotional price of sorts in hindsight. "I kind of learned after Weight of These Wings that I don't want to live everything I write about," she explained. The album not only helped her process the split, but also learned to guard her inner life and not let every private struggle be public art. Now she is married again to former NYPD officer Brendan McLaughlin. And surely this is the next grounded and balanced chapter in her life. According to her, her husband's extroverted personality has helped her soften down all the emotional walls she built during the tempestuous Shelton years. Still recovering from what she called a kind of PTSD from being shadowed by incessant tabloids, Lambert remains determined to spend her time and passion on what really matters, both in love and in life. Her story could have ended there, but a surprising twist brought a new kind of spark into her life. Finding love with Brendan McLaughlin. After years of public heartbreak, Miranda Lambert found an unexpected new beginning when she met Brendan McLaughlin, a former NYPD officer, in 2018. Their introduction was a whirlwind, a chance encounter on the set of Good Morning America, where McLaughlin was providing security during one of Lambert's performances. What followed was a rapid romance that led to a secret wedding just 3 months later. The couple tied the knot on January 26, 2019, in a private Nashville ceremony, surprising fans when Lambert revealed the news weeks after the fact. For Miranda, this wasn't just a marriage. It was a reset, a second chance at happiness far from the public drama of her past. Their relationship marked a turning point in Miranda's personal life, especially after the emotional exhaustion from her highly publicized split with Blake Shelton. This new love felt grounding, intimate, and shielded from the spotlight. In contrast to her former life in the tabloid crosshairs, Lambert and McLaughlin built a quieter existence, dividing their time between a Tennessee farm and New York City, where McLaughlin's young son lives. The shift from the chaos of celebrity gossip to a slower, more intentional pace helped Miranda heal and fall in love with life again. 6 years into their marriage, Miranda is still raving about her husband and making nice treats on social media to celebrate each of their milestones. Be it the posts about his cooking, mutual love for animals, or his super positive nature, Mr. McLaughlin seems to have filled Miranda's life with joy and brightness. In this regard, one can refer to Miranda's October 2022 birthday post about her husband, calling him the light in every room and her best friend, indicating how deep their connection has grown. Other than that, she mentioned that in working through their love, communication is vital, and in her opinion, it is the foundation for love to last, particularly due to her past pain. McLaughlin is more than just a rebound for Miranda. He's been a symbol of her personal growth and the peace she's fought so hard to earn. She has talked some about the importance of boundaries and balance, and learning to trust love again. "I'm one of those that loves love, and I love big," she said. With McLaughlin, that big love feels safe. Finally, the two of them have found a way to get her out of the spotlight on her own terms, leaving behind all that noise attached to fame for a life built on trust, vulnerability, and mutual respect. Miranda and Brendan's life today. After years in the blinding spotlight of fame and public scrutiny, Miranda Lambert has embraced a quieter, more grounded life with her husband, Brendan McLaughlin. Their home base is a serene 400-acre farm just outside of Nashville, where their days are filled with the simple joys of nature, animals, and privacy. Lambert, a lifelong animal lover and founder of the Mutt Nation Foundation, finds peace in this rustic environment, far from the noise of paparazzi and red carpets. The couple often retreats to this rural oasis after work commitments, enjoying downtime on their patio, listening to music, and throwing low-key, just us parties. a far cry from the chaos of her earlier years in the public eye. Despite rumors and speculation, including unfounded gossip in 2024 about Brendan dancing with a mystery woman, Miranda and Brendan have demonstrated a strong foundation of trust and communication. They've openly discussed ways to maintain that trust, including sharing passwords and tackling insecurities head-on. According to sources close to the couple, these steps have only strengthened their bond. Miranda, who's been candid about her past struggles with trust and fame-related anxiety, now finds security in Brendan's honesty and support. "He gives me harsh reality, and I love it," she shared in an interview. "Everybody needs a truth teller, and he's very New York about it." The present lifestyle of Lambert can be described as one characterized by balance and intent. She is very busy in her creative world, between her Las Vegas residency, new music, and appearances. However, she is finding a way to nurture her well-being in ways that may not include air-kissing the hustle. Lambert is at a sweet spot, with professional pursuits counterbalanced by personal fulfillment. Brendan has allowed Lambert to carve out time for what is most important, such as their spontaneous Arizona trip. "I finally found that balance pretty good," she said, reflecting that living a real, full life gives her so much more substance to work with than just being on the road, which is what her writing really thrives off of. Rumors that Lambert wants a baby have been swirling for years, but a source close to the couple dismissed them as absolutely false. Instead of following a narrative fabricated by tabloids, Miranda is focused on living her life, loving her husband, caring for animals, traveling, and constructing a house that feels like a refuge. Her marriage to Brendan is not just a new chapter. It is also a deeply personal redemption arc for a girl who once sang about heartbreak and now writes from a place of joy, trust, and hard-earned peace. Miranda shuts down the body shamers. Life for Miranda Lambert is anything but boring. And despite her laid-back February filled with horseback rides, goat yoga, and quiet downtime, the internet couldn't resist stirring up unnecessary drama. After posting snapshots of her month, a follower decided to leave a body-shaming comment criticizing Lambert's choice to wear bold blue leggings. Rather than letting the negativity get to her, Miranda responded in true Lambert fashion, sharp, witty, and dripping with sarcasm. She posted a screenshot of the rude comment to her Instagram stories with a cheeky response. "Good to know. I'll do better about displaying my unattractive parts." Her fans quickly rallied around her, filling her comments section with love and praise for her classy shutdown. Miranda's quick, confident clapback wasn't surprising to those familiar with her journey. The country superstar has long been candid about her experiences with body image struggles. Back in 2019, she openly discussed how her weight has fluctuated throughout her life and how she's had to push through both industry pressure and cruel public commentary. Whether she's rocking denim, red carpet glamour, or yoga pants on the farm, Lambert's fashion choices have always reflected her fierce independence. Her latest response reinforces the idea that women, especially public figures like her, shouldn't have to apologize for existing in their bodies, no matter their shape, size, or wardrobe. But aside from facing online criticism, Miranda is also dealing with personal issues, such as the public scrutiny of her marriage to Brendan McLaughlin. Rumors have been bubbling to the surface since last summer, when a viral video showed McLaughlin dancing with another woman. Although Miranda and Brendan have not been particularly vocal about the rumors, Lambert lately hinted at some of the realities of love and commitment. Love doesn't always cut it. You have to talk about spow. It is an honest take on how communication and compromise, not beauty and perfection, are the real cornerstones of her marriage, reflecting her fathoming and mature view of life and relationships. Today, Lambert is more focused than ever on living her life by her own definition, Whether swatting away baseless critiques, refining the world to her own personal style, or indulging in serious self-care, she is not going to allow outsiders to shape her story. The resilience of Miranda Lambert is more than any tabloid rumor or online comment, and rising above the negativity while still remaining true to herself only strengthens her ties with her fans. In the age of ossified perfectionism against which the flawless Miranda Lambert stands, the ultimate strength actually lies behind letting all dogs lie, staking claim, and living unapologetically. Miranda's new music. Miranda Lambert's latest music video for Run from her 2024 album Postcards from Texas is being hailed by fans as one of her most breathtaking works yet, and it's not hard to see why. Set against the striking backdrop of a desert, with mirrors and flowers dotting the landscape, the video captures both visual beauty and emotional depth. Miranda rides her horse through the scenery, singing lyrics that feel raw and revealing. "Oh, this freedom I found, babe, sure wasn't free. I was gonna run. I always was gonna run." It's clear that this song, like much of her music, draws on real pain, reflection, and ultimately, release. Run isn't just a song. It's a confession wrapped in melody. The lyrics suggest a deeply personal reckoning, possibly with her past relationships, identity, and the cost of emotional freedom. Lines about apologies, self-deception, and the urge to flee paint a picture of a woman who has been through the fire and come out not unscathed, but wiser. The vulnerability in her voice echoes the themes fans have come to expect from Miranda: resilience, heartbreak, and the complicated road to healing. Whether intentional or not, the song feels like a continuation of her post-divorce self-exploration that began with The Weight of These Wings. Miranda is blending the grit of her outlaw country past with the increasingly cinematic quality of a years-telling acclaimed storyteller. As much as it's affecting in the song, it lends a super visual dimension through the music video. Her horse Bellamy most prominently features, fortifying her association with home and nature. She swaggered glamorously in a fringe suede jacket and turquoise jewelry with a belted desert dress. Fans filled her social media accounts with the highest praise, masterpiece, and absolutely breathtaking. Many identified with how emotional escape was conveyed in praise of her authenticity in art. Miranda does not slow down beyond the video. This summer, she will tour with Morgan Wallen on his I'm the Problem tour, bringing her new songs and the tales behind them onto the stage. Some write heartbreak into the scene to propagate record sales, but Miranda Lambert continues to make good music that speaks to the person on a level deep inside them, drawing music from her own personal struggles. Postcards from Texas and Run have shown again that when Miranda bleeds into her lyrics, it isn't just cathartic, it's transformational, both for her and for her audience. These changes in Miranda's sound reflect a greater trend in country music, where vulnerability and storytelling are set to reclaim center stage away from formulaic chart runners. When country artists dig deep into their own scars, they invite listeners to do the same, wrote critic Ann Powers Wisdom Lambert, seems to embrace ever more with each release. Just when fans thought her voice was all they could rave about, she surprised them with something unexpected. New look and laid-back love. Miranda Lambert is turning heads yet again, this time with a fresh hairstyle that's got fans raving. Known for her iconic long blonde waves, the country superstar recently debuted a retro-inspired refresh in a photo shoot for her Spring Idlewind collection. The updated look, which evokes subtle 80s nostalgia with soft, voluminous curls, pays homage to the era's glam without going full mall bangs. Miranda always brings her Texas flair, pairing her throwback hair with bold outfits and signature turquoise jewelry. The Instagram post showcasing her new style instantly drew a flood of admiration from fans. Comments ranged from "your hair" to absolutely gorgeous, as followers praised not only her new do, but her continued confidence and creative expression. The timing of the glam reveal was perfect, coinciding with the upcoming 20th anniversary of her breakout album, Kerosene. To celebrate, Miranda announced the re-release of Kerosene on vinyl and dropped a previously unreleased track, I Don't Love Her Anymore, giving longtime fans something new to love while she honors her roots. Miranda's artistic evolution is being pursued alongside a life lived deeply in a fierce present. 6 years married to former NYPD officer Brendan McLaughlin, they divide their time between their sprawling 400-acre farm in Tennessee and occasional red carpets. Either way, despite those pesky tabloid whispers, their relationship has stood strong, bound by truth and open communication. My husband tells me the truth, Miranda divulged not long ago. Everybody needs a truth teller, and he's very New York about it. That kind of partnership has allowed her both personal and professional flourishing. Not packed with tours and promoting new music, Miranda likes to spend time casually. We're pretty chill, she told US. I'm in my patio hang vibe. We'll make drinks and listen to music. Miranda Lambert maintains that country glam and real-life grounding can coexist. And whether she is refreshing her style, working on her classic albums, or simply enjoying time on the farm, she proves that the two are simply part of the ride. In Miranda's view, to treat style as self-expression is more than just a fashion icon statement. Indeed, it is the transition into a culture that embraces authenticity and speaks to the aging process on one's own terms for those in entertainment. At 41, she stands in contradiction of the pressures faced by so many female artists to conform to standards of youthful beauty. If anything, she is doubling down on confidence and individuality. When many celebrities are being highlighted on social media for unattainable standards of perfection, her retro glam look feels like a rebellious wink at the bold women of country past. Dolly Parton's volume, Reba McEntire's panache, only now with a modern twist. And that she manages to remain relevant while fiercely hugging her roots is very telling, especially to the fans who have grown with her for the past 2 decades. As one fan put it on Instagram, you're not just evolving, you're inspiring us to do the same. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stories just like this. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And before you go, make sure to check out the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss what's coming next.